What's going on, guys? Today's scripture reading is coming from Isaiah 30, and it says, "Do not go down to Egypt. Ah, stubborn children, declares the Lord, who carry out a plan, but not mine, and who make an alliance, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. Who set out to go down to Egypt without asking for my direction?" How many of y'all moving in this season without asking God for his direction and guidance? How many of y'all are just willing your own way? When God says that I am the way, the truth, and the life, no man can come to me except through my son Jesus. He says that you have to be willing to give up your will and your way, which means to give up your life. That's the cost of following Jesus in order to have my will and purpose for your life. So it says, who set out to go down to Egypt without asking for my direction, to take refuge in the protection of Pharaoh? Being outside the will of God, if it affords you no protection, you under the protection of Pharaoh. That's the enemy. That's a false god. That's Satan being in his kingdom. Okay. And it says, let me read verse 3 again. It says, therefore shall the protection of Pharaoh. No, I'm sorry. It says, let me go back to verse 2. Who set to go down to Egypt without asking for my direction, to take refuge in the protection of Pharaoh, and to seek shelter in the shadow of Egypt? Therefore shall the protection of Pharaoh turn to your shame. Therefore shall the protection of Pharaoh turn to your shame, and the shelter in the shadow of Egypt to your humiliation. So it's basically saying that you willing your own way is going to bring shame and humiliation. Okay. Verse 4 says, for though his officials are at Zone and his envoys reach Hanes, everyone comes to shame through a people that cannot profit them, that brings neither help nor profit, but shame and disgrace. Verse 6, an oracle on the beast of the Negeb, through a land of trouble and anguish, from where comes the lioness and the lion, the adder and the flying fiery serpent. They carry their riches on the backs of donkeys and their treasures on the humps of camels, to a people that cannot profit them. What does it profit a man if he gains the whole world and lose his soul? What does it profit you? God says that that's your reward. It profits you nothing, because you cannot take anything out of this world when you leave. And we're all going to leave one day. Verse 7, Egypt's help is worthless and empty. Therefore, I have called her Rahab, who sits still. Rahab in the Bible was a prostitute. This is the word of the Lord concerning you. Do not go down to Egypt. There's freedom. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom and liberty, not bondage. Be blessed.